We welcome all our viewers to today's edition of Money Moves. I am Melissa Enoch, live at the FMDQ studios.
And I'm Grace Agbaragu. It's Thursday, the 21st of August. We thank you for joining us on the show.
Right, we now begin with corporate news. JSE-listed energy company Exxaro Resources has announced a leadership change to drive growth in energy, metals, and coal. Effective from November, Caroline Shirinza will become Exxaro's executive head of coal business, while Neil Manareng will lead sustainability, replacing Mongezi Veti, who will be retiring in 2026. The leadership change also includes heads across Exxaro's finance, energy, technical services, and strategy to make the company more flexible and collaborative and to deliver value to shareholders. In Rwanda, the National Bank of Rwanda Monetary Policy Committee, led by Governor Soraya Hakuziyaremye, has raised the central bank rate by 25 basis points. The decision on Wednesday pushed Rwanda's headline rate up to 6.75% from 6.50% previously. The move is aimed at tightening monetary conditions to contain inflation and safeguard macroeconomic stability. Let's take a listen.
Rwanda's economy continues to perform well in the second quarter of 2025. As you may recall, in the first quarter of this year, GDP growth stood at 7.8%, with broad-based contribution from services and industry, and a modest recovery in agriculture. Data for the second quarter are not yet released, but when we look at our high frequency indicators, they point to a sustained economic momentum in the second quarter, with our composite index of economic activities rising by 12.5% in the second quarter, reflecting strong performance across all sectors. We now move on to the monetary market developments. In the second quarter of this year, all rates have declined. Starting with money market rates, the interbank rate on average in the second quarter was at 6.3% compared to 8.14% that we had in the same period in 2024. In line with the CBR, the deposit rate also has reduced to 9.75%. This is in comparison to 10.17% deposit rate we had in the same period in 2024. And in the lending rate on average, they also decreased at 15.97%, which is a decrease from the 16.25% that we had in 2024 in the second quarter.
In the meantime, Nigeria's central bank governor Olayemi Cardoso has hosted a team led by the British High Commissioner to Nigeria, Dr. Richard Montgomery, on Wednesday. The engagement was focused on strengthening bilateral cooperation between Nigeria and Britain. The central bank chief and the British diplomat also discussed the deepening of the financial services sector and aligning of strategies to address global economic challenges impacting Nigeria and the United Kingdom. In earnings news, Kenya's unit of Standard Chartered Bank has posted a net profit slump of 21.4% to 8.09 billion shillings in the first 6 months of 2025. The NSE-listed lender reported on Wednesday a net interest income dip of 7.4% to 15.3 billion shillings. Non-operating income slumped nearly 30% in the first half. However, the lender announced a 2% rise in loans and advances to 152.21 billion shillings. Loan loss provisions declined 24.6% and gross loan loss provision improved 29.4% to 9.59 billion Kenyan shillings. An interim cash dividend of 8 shillings per share was approved by the board of the bank. Meanwhile, the Nigeria-headquartered Africa's Global Bank, the UBA Group, says its ongoing 3.16 billion ordinary shares rights offer to shareholders will close on September 5. The Pan-African lender says the offer being made at 1 new share for every 13 shares held, was part of the bank's 400 billion naira equity shelf program. The UBA capital raise is aimed at making the bank's balance sheet stronger, supporting lending, digital transformation, and expansion across Africa and key international markets. Finally, on News Now this Thursday, the Central Bank of Egypt has announced that its net foreign assets rose to $10.49 billion in July, up from $10.1 billion in the month of June. Net foreign assets at the central bank is widely viewed as a key indicator of banking sector stability and resilience. The financial regulator also reported that reserve money expanded to 2.51 trillion Egyptian pounds last month. Currency in circulation was reported at 1.56 trillion local pounds in July. I am Melissa Enoch, and that's it on News Now. We have Grace Agbaragu standing by at the FMDQ Archives Room for our Markets Round after the break. Stick around. You're still watching Money Moves this Thursday. Let's now go over to Grace for our Markets Round. Hello there, Grace.
Thank you, Melissa. Let's track today's trading day, beginning with equities as usual. In Nigeria, the NGX All-Share Index closed on the negative, down 0.87%. The BRVM in Abidjan advanced 0.38%. Cairo's EGX slipped 0.31%, while in South Africa, the JSE firmed 0.53%. Let's do a quick round on some of the Pan-African currencies. The Rand is 0.05%, while the Egyptian pound firmed slightly down 0.15%. The CFA franc weakened 0.15%. The Kenyan shilling held steady at 129.20 per dollar, while the Moroccan dirham inched up 0.03% to $9.02. The Naira slipped 0.07%. That's the FX update as of 12:51 GMT. Let's switch into the commodities data deck, beginning with energy prices. Brent crude rose 0.39%, while the US WTI gained 0.43%. Natural gas slipped 1.05%, and ROBOB gasoline was up 0.29%. Let's go over to soft. Cocoa gained 0.25%, coffee surged 1.20%, while cotton declined 0.06%. Palm oil was little changed, up 0.01%, while sugar slipped 0.97% as at 12:50 GMT. And that's your market check today. Over to you, Melissa.
Thank you very much, Grace, for those market updates. That's all for today's edition of Money Moves. We hope you all enjoyed the show. From all of us here at the FMDQ studios, we say thank you for watching and bye for now.